Seniors, take a look around. Some of the faces you are surrounded by tonight may only cross your path again in memory. Now turn to the person next to you. Take a good look, because in just a couple of hours, this person will become a former classmate. And after tonight, we will no longer be seniors of Cherry Hill High School West. We will officially be high school graduates. Tonight, we come together as the class of 2006 to celebrate and reminisce on 4 years of accomplishments, hard work, friendships, and experiences. And as graduates, we are here to accept our credentials and thank all those who have helped to bring us to this day. Our journey is coming to an end, but a new one is about to begin. We will move on towards our dreams, but Cherry Hill West will always hold a special place in our hearts. Remember the times we spent together as a class, and let's end our journey by making our final paw prints on the West community hearts. Relish each moment of this evening. Don't let a word, a smile, a thought, or gesture pass you by, because this is the moment when we start our new lives. Let's start our next journey by making fresh paw prints on the world. Thank you.
Please stand for the flag salute and join our orchestra and choir as they perform the national anthem. After the national anthem, please remain standing until the Cherry Hill West Air Force Junior ROTC retires the colors. The flag salute will be led by Jessie Susan Abish.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please sit down. Good evening and welcome to the Cherry Hill High School West graduation for the class of 2006. We are here to honor this class and to acknowledge 4 years of diligence, excellence, and success. Before we proceed with the ceremonies, I want to thank our guests for their presence. The class and I thank you in advance for assisting us in making this event a dignified, beautiful graduation. I would like now to introduce our guests and ask them to stand. From the Board of Education, President Mr. John Gailey, Vice President Mrs. Ann Einhorn, and members Mrs. Susan Badaracco, Mrs. Sharon Joshio, Mrs. Nancy O'Dowd, Mr. Robert Russo, Mr. Mark Trentacosta, and Mrs. Cindy Trubin. From the Superintendency, Interim Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Timothy Brennan, Assistant Superintendents Mr. Thomas Redmond, Mr. James Gallagher. Director of Curriculum, Dr. T.J. Locke. Supervisor of Special Education Services, Mr. Charles Lang, and Malberg Program Principal, Mr. John Cafagna. Also accompanying me this evening are Senior House Principal, Mr. Chuck Culligan, faculty co-advisors to the class of 2006, Mr. Sean Malozin and Ms. Laura Steiner, and members of the class who will participate in this evening's exercises: Jessie Susan Abish, Amel M. Elsweedy, Nathaniel Zeev Lane, Stephen Matthew Marcus, Elizabeth Molly Redmond, and Samantha Michelle Rush. At this time, I ask the West faculty members to stand and be recognized. So can the West teachers please stand up? Thank you. They are the professional staff who have chosen to spend their lives in the field of education, helping young people prepare for the future. I wish to recognize their efforts and express deep gratitude for what they have done to bring our graduates to this day. 5 of our 7 retiring teachers joined the class of 2006 for their commencement exercises. They, like the graduates, will soon start new chapters in their lives. The West community thanks Mr. Joseph Coppola, Mrs. Robin Levin, Mrs. Amy Mastel, Miss Celeste McMenamin, and Mr. Bill Murray for their 150 years of combined service to our school district, and wishes them much happiness and fulfillment in this next phase of their lives. Please join me in recognizing Mr. Coppola, Mrs. Levin, Mrs. Mastel, Ms. McMenamin, Mr. Murray, as well as Mr. Keith Britton and Mr. Barry Sager, who also retire this year. So there are retirees. Thank you. I also take this opportunity to thank the underclass participants of the Cherry Hill West 781st Air Force Junior ROTC Unit, the combined bands, the combined choirs, and their faculty advisors for their contributions to the beauty and dignity of this evening's ceremony. This evening's governor's address will be delivered by Samantha Rush, governor of the class of 2006. Samantha.
Good evening, Mr. Munyon, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Brennan, and members of the superintendency, faculty, family, friends, and especially graduates. Congratulations. We did it. We're finally graduating. This is a moment that for so long seemed so far away, but now it's here and it almost is unreal. Being your class governor has been such an honor. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to get so close to our school and especially close to our class. As governor, I saw firsthand how truly exceptional we are as a class. The class of 2006 is full of talented athletes, hardworking students, and dedicated leaders. Our input, participation, and character helped shape West into what it is today. Even though our class never won Spirit Week, if there was an award for the class with the most heart, that would be us. Every year we stood out in our unbeatable lip sync performances, we transformed our hallways, and our cheerleaders, the male cheerleaders, were incredible. We were original, setting the bar so high in many different areas. The class of 2006 dared to be different. We even had our senior prom at the aquarium of all places. Our class is really connected with West. We were a part of West's heartbeat, from chess to cheerleading, from swimming to theater, music to the newspaper. The class of 2006 has left a major imprint on West and has changed it for the better. Now, as I look back, I realize how much of an imprint West has left on me. Throughout the years, I've heard myself say, "Oh, I can't wait to graduate." But it was the other night, as I sat next to my yearbook, listening to the prom CD, thinking about what to say tonight, when it hit me. We are actually leaving West, our home away from home. Now I find it's the little things that I will really miss. I'll look back and remember hanging out in the courtyard during lunch and in between periods. I'll remember when the courtyards became snowball battlefields in the winter, and when the entire school lit up with cherry blossoms in the spring. I will think back to squeezing my way through the crowded D-wing intersection and the mile-long sandwich wrap line in the lunchroom. I will look back on the sports, the clubs, the teachers, and the spirit. But most of all, I will forever cherish the relationships that we have formed and the memories that we have created. The bonfire, homecoming, hockey games, Romello ski trips, the senior class trip. West has given us countless opportunities to strengthen our relationships with one another and create memories that will last a lifetime. West housed 4 years of our laughter, learning, memories, and friendship. We came in as freshmen, unaware of what adventures laid ahead. Now here we are together, with a new beginning, a new adventure. We are moving on from West and flying off into the real world. But no matter what awaits us, West will always be a part of our lives. We are truly a class that has created change and raised the bar. The class of 2006 was one of movers and shakers. We have accomplished so much at West throughout such a short time, it seems there's no limit to what we can achieve in our future. I wish you all the best of luck, and I look forward to seeing what incredible things we have all accomplished by the time of our next reunion. Thank you.
This evening's National Honor Society speech will be delivered by Elizabeth Molly Redmond, President of the Robert E. Hansen Chapter of the National Honor Society. Elizabeth?
Good evening, Mr. Munyon, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Brennan, and members of the Superintendency, faculty, families, friends, and graduates. I will be forever grateful to share this stage with my fellow classmates and for my chance to share my thoughts with all present. High school is a time full of changes, new people, new and different situations, tough decisions, good times, and great friends. However, one of the greatest aspects of our high school careers is the choices we make. The decisions that we made yesterday or last year, the ones we made today, or the ones we will make tomorrow, all are critical points in our lives. The great literary character Albus Dumbledore once said, "It is our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities." Our class consists of many great students with outstanding abilities. In the academic arena, we have high test scores and exceptionally smart kids getting accepted to the top schools in the nation. On the athletic side, we have championship teams with student athletes going on to play sports at all levels of college. It was their choices, however, that got West students to where they are today. Some students chose to study that extra hour or stay at practice a little longer. This dedication to both academia and extracurricular activities is what really allow West students to be so special. The support of our parents, teachers, administrators, and the school community has been crucial to our success. Their constant support, kindness, and dedication to our well-being have helped us make the right decisions. High school is like going for an ice cream cone at Baskin-Robbins. With its 31 flavors, there are so many choices that you may feel overwhelmed, or as if you will never be able to make a choice. When approaching the counter, or our academic careers, these many choices will yield different results. We will all have the power to make our own choices, and these choices are what will enable us to succeed. The biggest decision we made in school was most likely choosing our courses each year. At that time, each of us had the ability to choose classes that reflected our interests and in which we felt we could excel. We were aware of our abilities, whether we were good in math but not in English, or vice versa. It was now time to put those abilities to use, to make the right choices, and in doing so, make something happen with our education. Maybe you would have been able to excel in chemistry, but by not choosing to place yourself there, not taking the risk, you will never know. Making decisions that involve taking a risk and moving into uncharted territory will be intimidating, but these risks are a necessity in the building of a strong character. Taking that risk and failing is better than not taking the risk at all. You may not know failure, but neither will you know success. In college, we should all carry this as a lesson to live by. Never be afraid to be the person making the decision or taking the risk. If nothing else, you will develop the confidence of one who is not afraid to try. Decisions and choices are good things, but sometimes the decisions you make will turn out to be the bad choice. Agreeing with your little brother when he doesn't think that he will get hurt leaping off the top of the staircase, or deciding that a good time to study for your history final is the day before the exam. However, making a bad choice is no reason to stop believing in your abilities. The nice thing about high school is that if you make the wrong choice concerning a class, you can always drop it or add another. As we move on in our lives, correcting bad choices will not always be that easy. But the failure to make the right choice is something we can take and learn from. It has been said that true character is forged in the fires of failure. Not succeeding allows us to learn from our mistakes and enables us to try again. Along with choices come sacrifices. At one point in our lives, I am sure we have stayed up extra late to work on homework or to study just a little more for an exam. Those intellectual choices are what allows us to be on stage receiving our diplomas, and the decisions that helped us get into college or into other areas that high school may have taken us. To sacrifice a couple of hours of sleep or time with friends is what allows us to achieve our goals and become true leaders of our class. Part of leadership is the ability to sacrifice one's time in order to be an aid to others. Many of us have the abilities and the qualities to lead, but only in making the choices will we become a leader. Confidence and drive, combined with the right decisions, are what is needed to create a successful person. The right decisions all relate back to the intellectual choices, the ability to make the right decisions at the right time. Although many of you don't realize it, these choices have allowed us to leave our market west. Our decisions and choices have created an impact, not only on our lives, but on the lives of others. As much as some of you may hate to hear it, we are not done learning. For those of us going on to college, you will continue to take classes and expand as a person. For those of us going to the workforce or armed forces, you will also continue to learn and grow. These lessons will allow us to create a plan for ourselves and further impact the lives of others. As we leave the ceremony tonight, I challenge you to never stop learning and to never be afraid to make a choice. Try expanding your zone of comfort. Take a different path. You may be pleasantly surprised at the results. Continue to strive and grow as a person and continue to choose to make an impact. What we have done in high school is only the beginning of our learning experience and the choices we will make. Good choices are assisted by the guidance of our parents, teachers, administration, and peers. But of course, the main source of a good choice is you yourself. Never lose confidence in yourself and what you can do. However, if you do, always remember the resources and guidance you were given here at Cherry Hill West. Best wishes to Ted and all of my classmates. I can say that I am truly honored to be graduating with you tonight. I have full confidence that all of us have learned to continue to make the right choices. Congratulations, class of 2006.
Soon
At this time, Stephen Marcos, the valedictorian of the class of 2006, Stephen will offer his valedictory reflections. Okay, Stephen, thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Munyon, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Brennan, and members of the Superintendency, faculty, families, friends, and graduates. First, I must ask that you immediately lower any expectations you may have for me in this speech, because even though I am charming, good-looking, smart, stylish, fun to be around, and most of all modest, speeches like this are not my forte. It's also not my thing to be seen here before everyone sporting a big purple gown. That's something I've always done privately. But it's neither here nor there. So, when it came time to start thinking about what I wanted to say at graduation, I decided to focus on one thing, our legacy. What defines the class of '06, and are we leaving West a better place? Well, in some ways no, because how can West be better after we leave? But our influence will live on. 4 years has been too short a time to spend with such a great group of students. As Bilbo Baggins said, I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. What makes the class of '06 so great is that this collection of students consists of so many different individuals and personalities. Everyone is very unique and brings something different to life. Someone once said, you don't get harmony when everybody sings the same note. The way I see it, everybody is playing their own awesome tune, and together we have what appears to be a dynamite sound. How else can we describe our legacy? I think that while we are so diverse, we are close. And we are all good people, always doing the right thing. Look at Spirit Week, for example. Quite frankly, we all knew we could have won each year and swept the competition. But why steal candy from a baby, so to speak? No, instead, we band it together. We walk the high road, and we let the other classes have their fun. We put others before ourselves, and that's what this world needs more of, ladies and gentlemen. And we found that real meaning and purpose is in dead last. Most importantly, what have we learned after 4 years of high school? I'll show you. Two hydrogen atoms walk into a bar. One says, "I've lost my electron." The other says, "Are you sure?" The first replies, "Yes, I'm positive." That joke, I thought it kind of stunk. And it would seem pretty awkward for me right up here right now, but it isn't, because I'm from Cherry Hill and I can reassess. I can come back with this little doozy. Two cannibals are eating a clown. One says to the other, "Does this taste funny to you?" See, that's funny. The teachers liked it better the second time. On a serious note, right now we are at the prime of our lives. Our best years are right ahead of us. We all have nice hair, good posture, healthy toenails, and other things we need to cherish while we are still young. These upcoming years are the times one day we will look back on. Listen to these Pink Floyd lyrics. You are young, there is time to kill today, and then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run, you missed the starting gun. Don't let that happen. It's time to get busy living. We are leaving West, and it's time for our class to make its mark on the world. I look around and I see vast potential for our future, but potential will not take us very far. We need to make the most of the gifts and capabilities we have in order to turn the promise of our class into accomplishments and achievements, and ultimately into a legacy. Frank Sinatra summed it up best when he used to say specifically about the class of 2006, "The best is yet to come, and baby, won't that be fine?" Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Before I give my speech, I'd like to take a moment. Dr. Brennan mentioned this to me. We have a person here who I think has done 50 graduations, videotaped all of them, and tonight is his last one. So I'd like to recognize about 10 feet from me, Gordon Hampson, who does all of our, thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Dr. Brennan, for that advice. Well, it's time for my speech, and I'd like to start out, first of all, I promise you it'll be brief. I would like to dedicate my speech, I never did this before, but I want to dedicate my speech to a few people who I think make this speech somewhat valid, and they are the Cherry Hill Zone PTA, the Cherry Hill West PTA, and most importantly, I guess, Allison Staffen, who led the character education group to create our code of conduct known as the West Way, and has played a lot in helping to build the character of West. So Allison, if you're nearby, would you please stand up so we can say thank you? There she is. Okay. I believe that there is a time to leave a place and move on. Wherever we go, something like this will happen again. Your arrival, your experiences, finally, you're moving on. The places will be different. It could be houses, jobs, friendships, maybe even marriages. But they all have the same pattern of arriving, experiencing, and moving on. All destinations will have an ending leading to a new beginning. It is what we often call the journey of life. The journey just happens. Opinions vary as to where we are all going, but it is certain that our journey requires provisions along the way. And along the way, we continue to discover ourselves. In the Middle Ages, Europeans journeyed to religious shrines. The journeys were called pilgrimages. and often they were quite dangerous. There's still some remnants of the Dark Ages there, violence. But along the way, they began to discover who they were as they traveled. You might remember this in your English class when you read Canterbury Tales, the pilgrimage to Canterbury Cathedral. Later, a Protestant Christian group actually called themselves pilgrims. And to them, life was indeed a journey, but not to a shrine or a church, but rather to heaven itself. Hence, their journey was not limited to Plymouth Rock in North America, giving us Thanksgiving holiday. As they traveled their journey, they believed they had to treat all people with kindness along the way if they were to succeed in their pilgrimage, go to heaven. Today, many are discussing the Da Vinci Code, having read the book or seen the movie. Perhaps lost in the distinction and debate, is this fact or is this fiction, is an interesting group which is discussed in the book known as Opus Dei. Their founder is a 20th century Spanish priest, Jose Maria Escriva. He also said that life is a journey. He stated that you had to know the way to live, in order to find your way on the journey. Indeed, he even wrote a little book called The Way. It will not make the bestseller list, it won't be controversial, it won't be a movie, but it does tell its followers how to make the journey, what they will need, and where they are going. So now it is time for us to continue our life journey, not necessarily as Christian pilgrims or modern members of Opus Dei, but it is time, class, to move on. I hope you know where you're going. As your principal, I have tried to give you, I've tried to give you what I think you need for the journey. An expanded open mind, a hard work ethic, good citizenship, a concern for people, a tolerance of all the religions, races, nationalities, and cultures of this country. Your high school gave you a code of conduct, which ironically is called the West Way. I hope the best code of conduct, however, that we gave you for your journey is not so much a piece of paper, which probably most of us cannot recite anything on, but more importantly, the example of how we, the adults in your school, displayed ourselves. How we acted towards you speaks much more than I believe what we expect you to do in honor of a code of conduct. We leave our high school and we move on in this journey. I've traveled along with you for 4 of these years. I hope your school, our school, has shown you and me the way. Perhaps as we travel and continue this journey, we will see each other along the way or at the final destination. Parting thought. You're great kids. You know it. I'm proud of you. Peace. Move on. He's back. Oh my goodness. Members of the class of 2006 have distinguished themselves in academics, technology, the arts, music, journalism, athletics, and service to their school and community. They have brought honor to themselves, to their families, to West, and to the Cherry Hill community. Because the awards of the class members are too numerous to announce, we have published all of them in the commencement program, and I encourage our guests to read the varied accomplishments of our graduates. Members of the West staff will now join me in congratulating students who have received special awards, scholarships, and honors. Graduates, Please stand if your name is called and face your families, and remain standing when your name is called. The Order of the Lion: Stephen Matthew Marcos, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Rebecca Megan Pierce, Andrew Brian Zagorin. Principal Scholars: Stephanie Michelle Caspi, Dong Hui Chong, James Philip D. Bartolo II, Julie Mi Yi Wang, Stephen Matthew Marcos, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Rebecca Megan Pierce, Andrew Brian Segura.
You may be seated. Semifinalist, National Achievement Scholarship Program, Janet Tekla Tesfaye. Letters of Commendation, National Merit Scholarship Program, Dong Kyu Chung, James Philippe Di Bartolo II, Benjamin Louis Mazer, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Sarah Lilac Reeser, Kathleen Elizabeth Rizzo, Danielle Beth Slutsky, Janet Tekla Tesfaye, Christopher Tamayo Velasco. Special Scholarship, National Merit Scholarship Program, Joshua Brian Nix. State of New Jersey Department of Education, Edward J. Blaustein, Distinguished Scholars, Jessie Susan Abish, Stephanie Michelle Caspi, Dong Kyu Chung, James Philippe Di Bartolo II, David Michael Frank, Michelle Ann Jastrzemski, Daniel William Jones, Alexander James Kachenko, George William Lay, Stephen Matthew Marcos, Benjamin Louis Mazer, Anne Tien Nguyen, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Rebecca Megan Pierce, Florette Lara Press, Kathleen Elizabeth Rizzo, Jiwoon John Shin, Janet Tekle Tesfaye, Zachary Andrew Timon, Andrew Brian Zagorin. Please join with me in congratulating these students. You may be seated.
Local awards and scholarships: Jessie Susan Abish, Christopher Sean Acrivo, Christopher Michael Angelotti, Robert Matthew Barbera, Keith William Badorf, Andrew Robert Bedartnick, Christina Marie Berry, Andrew Carl Bowden, Lindsay Ann Brammel, Nicole Colleen Bush, Justine Nicole Caputi, Amber Brittany Carter, Stephanie Michelle Caspi, Natasha Keller Betovic, Kristen Marie D'Ambra, James Felipe Di Bartolo II, Carolyn Irene Ducey, Amal M. Elsway, Jennifer Heather Epstein, Scott Paul Ferguson, David Michael Frank, Stephen Garbowski, Corinne Elizabeth Analega Higgins, Megan Susan Hallowell, Mallory Morgan Haswell, Gregory Mark Holm, Jennifer Sophia Horn, Sonia Eileen Houston, Julie May Yi Hong, David Alexander Genovi, Michelle Ann Drosmensky, Caitlin Mary Johnson, Christine Elizabeth Caston, Paul Dawes Cahuti, Rachel Avital Leonardi, Emily Rebecca Lind, Victoria Long, Brett Allen Madras, Mark Joseph McGowan, Stephen Matthew Marcos, Emily Kelly Martinez, David Edward McCorkle, and Jeffrey Franklin Miller.
Kelly Amber Miller, Adam Dale Morton, Anthony James Morton, Kevin Andrew Motson, An Tien Nguyen, Tong V. Lee Nguyen, Vanessa Marari Pabon Garcia, Elaine Sume Pang, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Rajvi Vijay Patel, Carlisle Andrew Phillips, Rebecca Megan Pierce, Madeline Leah Corpuz Pizarro, Florette Laura Press, Catherine Mary Prue, Daniel Patton Quinn, Sina Orlando Rainey, Elizabeth Molly Redman, Sarah Lelik Reeser, Nicole Rose Riley, Kathleen Elizabeth Rizzo, Samantha Michelle Rush, Ashton Keynes Ryan, Caitlin Denise Santhan, Sarah Ashley Saha, Rachel Seitz, Ji Woong John Shin, Victor Anthony Silvestri, Kelly Lynn Smith, Jared Thomas Stamatelos, Jordan Lee Staub, Michael James Stiles, Ryan Edward Tadley, Krista Nicole Taylor, Timothy Nicholas Thompson Jr., Shane Michael Thompson, Cameron Michael Thornton, Kathleen Jennifer Torres, Christopher Matthew Tribulus, Zachary Andrew Timon, Yvette Vera, Rachel Blair Weiss, Angela Marie Wilmer, Bianca Wilson, Andrew Brian Zagorin. Please join with me in recognizing the accomplishments of these students.
Summa cum laude, Stephanie Michelle Caspi, Dong Kyung Chung, James Philippe Di Bartolo II, Julie Mei Yi Huang, Stephen Matthew Marcus, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Rebecca Megan Pierce, Andrew Brian Sigorin, magna cum laude, Jesse Susan Abesh, Charles Yuma Bion, Gisela Perez Camba, Carolyn Irene Doozy, Michelle Ann Yastremski, Daniel William Jones, Emily Rebecca Lind, Anne Thien Nguyen, Florette Lara Press, Yiwong John Shin, Kathleen Jennifer Torres, Rachel Blair Weiss. Cum laude, Christopher Michael Angelotti, Sarah Elizabeth Cheatham, Wang Ji Chung, Paula Molly Donison. David Michael Frank. Alexander James Kachenko. George William Lay. Brett Ann Nita Mahmood. Benjamin Lewis Mazer. Tiong V. Lee Gwynn. Rajvi Vijay Patel. Elizabeth Molly Redmond. Sarah Lilek Reeser. Kathleen Elizabeth Rizzo. Ari Syed Sabzwari. Caitlin Denise Santhan. Elizabeth Ann Siebert. Janet Tekli Tesfai. Jackie Tron. And Zachary Annan Timon.
For certificates of merit, would the following students stand? Stephanie Bartusis, Jill Therese Bites, Tracy Gail Benjamini, Jennifer Charuz, Joshua Justice Curry, Adam Paul Desi, Samantha Margaret Kearns DeBella, Amal M. Elsweedy, Scott Paul Ferguson, Mark Anthony Filari, Christine Catherine Fox, Mallory Morgan Haswell, Andrew Richard Hagrogian, David Alexander Janov, Abida Karimi, Christine Elizabeth Caston, Adrian John Kostaleski, Elon Simon Levy, Victoria Long, Kelly Amber Miller, Kathleen Emily Morose, Melissa Moy, Mark James Nyman, Adam Joshua Noir, Megan Marie Nugent, Vanessa Paban Garcia, Elaine Sume Pang, Tai Wan Park, Rebecca Ann Petner, Thomas Park Pieruli, Madeline Leah Corpus Pizarro, Catherine Mary Proul, Samantha Michelle Rush, Alina Saeed Sabzwari, Chardon Tyler Shank, Rachel Seitz, Danielle Beth Slutsky, Kelly Lynn Smith, Annie Tang, Jennifer Lisa Wedgwood, and Lev Zadwinski. Could you please join me in recognizing these academics? Thank you.
The class closure, this evening's final student presentation, will be offered by Netnelzi Len.
I'm very honored to be the last class representative to speak to this commencement audience. Well, actually, it's a pretty depressing role being the last person who's essentially sending everyone off away from one another. To call each one of you part of my family would be an understatement. I feel as though over these past 4 years I've spent more time with all of you than at my own home. In fact, the longer I speak, the more time we get to spend together as a class. But meeting you just didn't happen by coincidence. If I could go back in time to the first day that the class of 2006 walked into the building, this would be the advice I would give. Get there quick by street, but not the freeway. This line is from a song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I believe it's good advice. I believe what they are saying in the song is that, of course, it would be convenient to take the Route 230 freeway west, grab a few classes in a Cinnabon, and get off at the last exit and receive our diplomas. But why should we be so anxious to get away quickly? By taking the side streets, we did get to the end of the line less quickly, but I feel as though doing so allowed us to see more of West. By taking the side streets, we had more time and opportunity to build memories and friendships that promise to hold forever. By taking the side streets, we met more people, the students and their parents, teachers, advisors, coaches, administrators, the entire staff, sprinklers, and most importantly, each other. All the people we've met along this road trip could be some of the greatest people we will ever meet. We've been reminded constantly that our high school years are the greatest times of our lives. I'm really glad we just didn't zip right through them. Thank you, everyone who helped us get here. Congratulations, class of '06. I look forward to seeing you at our first reunion in about 3 hours. Until then, enjoy this moment because it's ours.
Dr. Timothy Brennan, Superintendent of Schools, will now address the class of 2006 and then present them to the Board of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Munyon. Members of the class of 2006, esteemed faculty, members of the staff, the administration, the Board of Education, parents, grandparents, family, honored guests, and friends. I am pleased and honored to share with you tonight, and I congratulate you all on the accomplishments of your students. I have only been in Cherry Hill for 7 months, but in my 40 years of education, 21 of them as superintendent, I have seen great high schools: Shaker Heights, Grosse Pointe, Palo Alto, the Lab School at Pembroke College, Oxford, Homedale, Princeton, Scarsdale. But I have never seen a high school that matched Cherry Hill West's human spirit, the way you care about each other, what you mean to each other. It's extraordinary. It's rare. I congratulate you. And I thank everyone who helped you learn. Now, I define the word learn as to change on the basis of experience. I learned differently when I went to school than you did when you went to school, and now that you're graduating. When I went to school, we had a thing called fundamentalism: reading, writing, arithmetic, discipline. Out you went, and you were supposed to mix that up and combine it to make a life for yourself. And then somewhere in the 70s and 80s, the Japanese economy began to outstrip America, and people were saying, well, you know, no wonder they have speed to market. The American kids can't do this, and they can't do that, and they can't do this. So they changed the whole way of American education to essentialism. The 500 things you have to know how to do to graduate from high school. And let's see, how many standardized tests would we need to test those 500 things? Well, if you've been here since kindergarten, Cherry Hill class of 2006, you've had 32 of those tests, and the federal government is adding 3 right now. Now, it's not a perfect world. Each system has its pluses and minuses. With me, I didn't know what to do when I got out of high school. I knew I was good in English, so I went to college and I majored in English. And then I got out with a degree in English, and I found out I could pump gas. I could join the philosophy majors at the unemployment office. I didn't have any education courses, but I could teach, and so I did that. But I decided I would keep growing and keep learning and see where it would lead me. Now, you have more of an immediacy of what your education can do for you, but because you have to do those 500 things, there's less time to wrestle with the questions to which there's no one right answer. And those are the most important questions human beings ask themselves. In the 2nd grade, why does Jack go up the beanstalk the 3rd time, even though he's already got a harp made of gold? In high school, does Antigone by giving her brother a decent burial in Sophocles' play, violate the law as written down by Creon? Or by using the heart and minds that the gods gave her, does she fulfill their unwritten law? And underneath that is the question asked by all humanities, what does it mean to be human? But see, you can't change that into a multiple choice question, and so we don't deal with that anymore. But I think your best bet is to do what I did, even though we came through very different American school systems, to keep on learning, to keep on growing. And if you do that, then your whole life will change. I spent part of my time in life as a writer, part-time for the Washington Post Syndicate, and sometimes full-time for local papers or columns I would write on education. And I never met a writer who didn't read the New York Times every day. If you had read the New York Times today, here's what you would have read. On page 1, North Korea is about to do a test of a long-range missile. Everyone wonders how far the missile can go because everyone knows what's going to be on top of it if it's ever fired in anger. On the same page, World News, another country is asking the United States to support them as an ally to counterbalance the influence of China, which may overarch their sovereignty. You know what country that is asking for American support? Vietnam. Inside, there's proof that where real war may be edging closer, virtual war is fading because video games that talk about war and that have kids play wars like Call of Duty 2 are fading in sales. They're fading because the companies are bringing out new platforms and no one knows what games are going to go on those platforms. PS3, Xbox 360, Nintendo W2, WI. But the people who make the platforms, according to the New York Times, are very happy because even though people are playing fewer video games, they're joining with others in a video environment. And that's really what the manufacturers want to do. They want to take over. They want to take over the movies and make it interactive. Remember the 4-wall video screen in Fahrenheit 451? Is Bradbury going to be a prophet yet again? And then the question is, does that mean people are going to sit home? Well, no. In the business section in today's Times, Boeing, the leading American aircraft company, and Airbus, the leading European company, are in a contest to see whether Airbus's big double-decker 500-passenger plane or Boeing's Dreamliner, no middle seats, much more comfort, better fuel economy, and you don't have to fly to a major airport. It can puddle jump to anywhere, will win out. It looks like Boeing's winning out, and so Airbus is going to build a medium-sized airliner. What will people be reading when they're on those planes? Well, in the book review section today, 2 women have decided that chick lit, which is the literature, bright and breezy, that so many young women read, and about bad boyfriends, nasty bosses, the luxury of lipstick, bad hair days, it's gone. It's lost its uniqueness, its sense of humor. But these 2 authors feel that maybe in reading chick lit, women develop an appetite for books, and so they've written a book called Living and Literacy in Los Angeles about a woman who binges on books. And that's how much the world has changed in this one day. And so perhaps the difference between me and you when I graduated from high school and when you're graduating from high school is there really is no choice. You have to stay a lifelong learner. But I can tell you that at the end, when you grow old and ripe with age, perhaps if you do grow and learn every day, then you'll appreciate what George Bernard Shaw said. Life is no brief candle. To me, it is a shining torch that I have a hold of for the moment, and I intend to make it burn as brightly as I can before handing it over to future generations. Class of 2006, over to you. Mrs. Einhorn, as Vice President of the Board of Education, Mr. Gailey, as President of the Board of Education, I do hereby attest and certify that the 12th graders assembled here tonight are worthy of the diploma of Cherry Hill High School West, class of 2006. I salute you.
On behalf of the Cherry Hill Board of Education, I accept the Cherry Hill High School West class of 2006 and authorize its commencement. Congratulations, class. 4 long years of hard work, dedication, and commitment brought you and your family to this beautiful evening at the Tweeter Center. My first opportunity to deliver the board address was with the West class of 1994. I've had the pleasure of experiencing 12 different Cherry Hill West classes over the years, and this is by far one of the most interesting. I've learned a lot about your class from the reports that your Student Board of Education representatives have presented, but I wanted to learn more. So I went to 2 people who know you better than I ever could. They've guided you, prodded you, been there whenever you needed them. You owe them a tremendous thank you. Of course, I'm speaking of your class advisors, Ms. Steiner and Mr. Wilson. And here's what I learned. You have a desire to do things better than they have ever been done before. You do not follow, you lead. You forge new paths. This spirit is best exemplified by your commitment to community service. You are credited with holding the best-run blood drive in Camden County. You showed your caring for others by raising money for Katrina and tsunami victims and the March of Dimes, as well as thousands of dollars in the support of the eradication of landmines. This class has a true sense of family and a respect for the institution that is West, and all the students who comprise it. When you see a wrong, you right it, and you're very vocal if you feel you're not being heard. In summary, the Cherry Hill High School West class of 2006 has been described as an explosion of talent who takes the initiative to excel at all things with respect for each other and the humility to let their actions speak for themselves. The Board of Education would like to wish you all the best for your future. May you continue to set high standards and goals for yourselves, and may you always be successful in life. Congratulations, class. I would like the members of the Board of Education to join me in distributing the diplomas to the members of the class. Mr. Munyon, please assist us by having the names of the members of the class of 2006 read.
Samantha Michelle Rush, Stephen Matthew Marcos, Elizabeth Molly Redmond, Nathaniel Zev Lane, Jesse Susan Abesh, ML M. El Sweetie, Krista Nicole Taylor, David Alexander Janov, Paula Molly Donison, Stephen Garbowski, Caitlin Denise Santhin, Pedro Angel Rivera Perez, Kimberly Ann Ryan, Carlisle Andrew Phillips, Kelly Lynn Heaston, Anthony James Morton, Randall Morgan Yingling, Andrew Carl Bowden, Vanessa Marari Pabon Garcia, David Alphonse Dector, Vanessa Rose Wilcox, Dong Q Chong, Emily Rebecca Lind, Brian David Stout, Jennifer Sophia Horn, James Earl Franklin, Rebecca Lee Rowland, Christian Ernesto Padilla, Bianca Wilson, Michael James Stiles, Chuang V. Lee Nguyen, Michael Elliott Myers, Megan Virginia Lee, James Felipe DiBartolo II, Shafanta Latea Monday, Christopher Michael Angelotti, Nicole Rose Riley, Larim Rufati, Elaine Sue May Pang, Joseph Stephen Skolnick, Sonia Eileen Houston, Daniel Anthony Lodato, Stephanie Michelle Caspi, Brian Eugene Mecca, Lisa Nicole Stanzilis, Michael Ford Metzger, Courtney Danielle Johnson, Theodore Craig Williams, Francesca Yvonne Montez, Zachary Andrew Timon, Rachel Blair Weiss, Mark James Nyman, Catherine Mary Pro, Elon Simon Levy, Rebecca Megan Pierce, Andrew Brian Zagorin, Alexandra Kate Pastino, Thomas Anton Jerub, Gina Marie Iezi, Nikesha Vanikwe Odrick, Jared Thomas Stematelis, Jordan Elaine Bucks, Brian Charles Reinert, Janet Tekel Tesfaye, Danielle Stephen Giaconelli, Jasenia Marie Robles, David Edward McCorkle, Angela Marie Wilmer, Ryan Gamble Childs, Dana Arminta Shanks, Theodore Robert Heim, Sina Orlando Rainey, Davidson Nguyen Hang, Crystal Renee Reeve, Max T. Miller, Lori Ann Gessner, Daniel Patton Quinn, Stephanie Sarah DeBella, Cameron Michael Thornton, Daniel Beth Slutsky, Preston Augustus Mona, Christine Elizabeth Caston, Young Q Ann, Brittany Florence Citron, Adam Paul Desi.
Gisela Perez Camba, Joshua Brian Nix,
Renee Attia, Peter Bradley Rodifer, Carolyn Josephina Nash, Matthew Ian Callahan, Madeline Leah Carpuz Pizarro, Caitlin Mary Johnson, Alan Michael Latta, Allison May Rolish, Hong Jia Chung, Taylor Ann Chaffel, Michael Edward Bevilacqua, Arij Saeed Zabzwari, Andrew Robert Bednarchek, Megan Susanna Hollowell, Christopher Sean Akravo, Carly Christine Zakernacki, Brett Thomas Davidson, Ann Tien Nguyen, Mark Anthony Filari, Sinanun Tirarak, Andrew Howard Gardner, Megan Marie Nugent, Charles Yuma Biyun, Karina Rubin, Michael John Kohler, Christine Lynn Martirano, Kenneth James Horn, Sophia Maria Carolyn Elizabeth Graves, Juliet Josephine Lee, Victor Anthony Silvestri, Nicole Colleen Bush, Michael Gregory Chimchik, Jordan Ashley Van, Taiwan Park, Rebecca Ann Petner, Rajvi Vijay Patel, Robert Matthew Barbera, Allison Joy Quering, Paul Dawes Corey, Desiree Marie Caruso, Jackie Tran, Megan Katie Ryan, Joshua Justice Curry, Kayla Aurelie Lee Cruz, Jared George Knable, Monica Rachel Miller, Robert Frank Rieger III, Julie Mei Yi Wong, George William Lay, Ashley Marie Manning, Tyrone Darrell Walker, Annie Tang, Alfred Michael Chiaffi, Erica Ann Kramer, Matthew Ryan Gumper, Dana Lynn Chick, Daniel William Jones, Florette Lara Press, Jeffrey Franklin Miller, Elizabeth Ann Seibert, Brett Allen Madras, Rachel Lee, Adam Sabri Erispaha, Michelle Ann Jaskremski, Claron Harold Johnson, Rachel Avital Leonardi, Kyle Collins Burbank, Carolyn Irene Duzzi, Ramsey Scott Maldonado, Roberto Edclema Yantorno, Jason Rodriguez, Jill Therese Bites, Jeffrey Richard Winterberg, Yvette Vera.
Kristen Marie Diambra, Michael Thomas Cotter, Min Ah Jung, Scott Paul Ferguson, Trisha Marie Sanchez, Timothy Joseph Hugh Gibson, Kelly Amber Miller, Frank Wilsmore Hall IV, Samantha Margaret Cairns DeBella, Michael Ligori, Charlene Andrea Covelli, Ji Wong John Shin, Alma Delia Munoz, Rick Hong Trung, Marissa Lynn Beerley, William Brian Farley, Catherine Helen Didzirkis, Matthew Ryan Mattingly, Tiffany Leigh Swander, Nicholas Keith Riccardi, Linnea Elizabeth Fargo. Adam Dale Morton. Tracy Gail Benjamini. Stephen Anthony Kuspelich II. Irina Agurak. Adam Joseph Barber. Sarah Elizabeth Muser. Ryan Edward Tadley. Rachel Seitz. Daniel Hunter Moser. Catherine Elizabeth Coates. Raheem Lamar Morton. Kristen Lee Layton. Mordecai Kekuo Weiss. Aaliyah Angela Dukes. Michael Francis Corey. Kathleen Elizabeth Rizzo. Andre Zelinsky. Donit Michael Stemmer. Danielle Lynn Buchanan. Adam Harrison Faber. Sabina Nataska Della Peruta. Joseph Curtis Lamana. Jennifer Michelle Loney. Maniwang Camrea Hua. Rebecca Suero. Sean William McCullough. Donna Marcel Kashmir Russ. Catherine Victoria Heinzman. Anthony Sepielli. Nida Mahamud. Thomas Park Piruli. Brittany Evelyn Dre. Arjitim Carpuzzi. Jennifer Tobin Dean. Stephen Michael Turco. Shannon Lynn Alicia Gaston. Christopher Stephen Scheib. Sasha Denise Davila. Alexander Raymond Magliano. Allison Claire Lizzie. Alexander Agurak. Shannon Elizabeth McGovern. Robert Michael DeGennaro. Sarah Lelek Reeser. Michael Alexander Kasabian. Brooke Ann Doherty. Nitzan Shazar. Ashley Marie Owlette. John Roger Phillips Jr. Rachel Ann Collins. Anthony Thomas Puglisi. Christina Marie Berry. Brett Thomas Harden. Tara Lynn Melwig. Kyle B. Grayson. Alina Syed Sabzwari. Sue James Huang. Stephanie Bartusis. Jamie Lee Ron. Monica Ann Malinowski.
Jennifer Cruz. Ian Jeffrey Amsterdam. Jennifer Lynn Mullen. Keith William Badtorf. Sarah Elizabeth Cheatham. Jeffrey Michael Gorman. Courtney Elizabeth O'Neill. Jordan Lee Staub. Tweety Trong. Daniel Patrick McLaughlin. Andrea Deneen Chambers. Lev Zedvinsky. Laura Lynn Stepp. Timothy James McClure. Jessica Lynn Giardinelli. Adam Joshua Noor. Christina Lucia Vitagliano. Keith John Milligan II. Natasha Keller Switkovich. Kyle Kajimaka Earhart. Melody Sierra Sunkett. Matthew Howard Bergman. Corinne Elizabeth Annalena Higgins. Charles Rocco Stewart. Justine Nicole Caputi. Kevin Andrew Motson. Amelia Kelly Martinez. John Anthony Princiata. Susanna Marie Berlage. Wesley Louis Vasquez. Kathleen Jennifer Torres. Gregory Allen Lichtenberger. Mark Joseph McGowan. Caitlin Grace Solomon. Benjamin Lewis Mazer. Amber Brittany Carter. Andrew Richard Hagrogian. Aliana Grace Ullman Katz. Donnell William Ankrum. Christine Catherine Fox. Jennifer Heather Epstein. Michael Wayne Wright. Holly Frances Timchi. Hong Vin Chung. Stephanie Reyes. Daniel Brady McKay. Brittany Ann Carbone. Christopher Tamayo Velasco. Grace Victoria Hitchman. Urate Genadievna Lazutina. Patrick Tran. Tina Marie Fortunato. Andrew William Sutton. Ora Yaffa Nussbaum. Gary Theodore Del Rossini Jr. Michelina Marie Shoemaker. Alexander James Kachenko. Julie Kapulo. Matthew Joseph Balabuk. Kathleen Emily Moros. Jesse Adam Gordon. Jessica Ann Dinitz. Jonathan Joel Truck. Rhonda Renee Rhines. Stephen Vaughn. Valerie Lynn Stamper. Victor Noel Ortiz Jr. Melissa Ashley Hinger. Evangelo Papanau. Lynn Marie Passarella. Kevin Mark McWilliams. Jessica Marie Shepard. Timothy Russell Kyle. Janet Giovanna Vaca. Samantha Lynn Steppier. Michael Ellie Becker. Melissa Moy. Jeremy Philip Michael Thomas Segrist. Sarah Ashley Saha. Michael Henry Falco. Tatiana Conchetta Tabili. Sean Patrick Nolte. Elianis Pavone.
William Mallon. Ulisa Almonte. Raymond Lopez II. Kelly Lynn Smith. Peter William Dolly IV. Victoria Long. Christopher Matthew Tribulus. Abida Karimi. Julia Marie Giacobbe, William David Knox, Arisa Tirarak, John Thomas Roskowski, Brianna Marie Foley, Michael David Maxwell, Lindsay Ann Bramall, Matthew Daniel Moran, Vihosa Abdullahi, Michael Gallagher Feeney, Robin Jennifer Silver, Gregory Mark Holm, Emily Lucy Schmidbauer, Scott Ian Greenberg, Joshani Louise Almonte, David Michael Frank, Nicole Alma Molson, Adrian John Kostaleski, Samantha Janelle Johnson, Jeffrey Joseph DeAngelis Jr., Stephanie Nicole Lynch, Chardon Tyler Schenk, Crystal Elizabeth Fletcher, Christopher Todd Caracciolo, Lindsay Ann Kerr, Melissa Sarah Rainick, Ross William Fitzpatrick, Erica Ann Henley, Jacob Mitchell Earwood, Brittany Faye Best, Paul Chet Pentkowski, Ashton Kane Ryan, Mario Luigi Centofanti, Jennifer Lisa Wedgwood, Svetlana Goldina, Philip Julian Neris, Alana Patrice Gleckler, Harry Christopher Miller, Kathleen Margaret Ambrose, Michael Eric Clark, Mallory Morgan Haswell, James Smith Bosch, Amanda Knopf, Evan Andrew Rybel, Linda Danielle Nieves, William Chase Wrestler, Amanda Lee McHale, Francis Anthony Bonassis, Shakar Leona Schieber, Jose Yepes Oblitas, Amy Elizabeth Potesta, Alyssa Lee Brown, Aja Brittany Morris, Enos Schneuer.
Okay, everybody. We're going to do two things. The last thing we're going to do is kind of really special also because it's kind of the last time we'll sing our alma mater together, and I'm going to ask you all to rise for that. But before that, we have a new tradition that these two students would like to take our class through. Tanya?
The class may now turn their tassels to the right side, signifying their graduate status.
All right, class, it's time to move on. Let's rise and have our last alma mater. We are always your family.